Hello, a good day to everyone. I am Mae Alma Loyola. I am representing AgriCooPh PH of the Philippines. Um, we were able to access Arise funds from the Asia Pacific Farmers Program uh, that was for assuring resiliency of family farmers amidst the COVID-19. So we are joining here the Knowledge Management Fair, and this is our contribution for giving out our learnings we had for this fund that we were able to access. And this is our profile, our country project profile. We started on March 2021 and ended in March 2022. So this is a 1-year program. And we received $270,000 in 2 tranches. The first tranche was $200,000 and the second was $70,000. And with this fund, we were able to give assistance to 7 agricultural cooperatives. For 2 types of projects, for production and working capital. And for the production assistance, we were able to give this to 3 of our member cooperatives, Campil, BACFA, and SOEMCO. And the total amount they were able to access amounted to $103,940. And the 4 other cooperatives, Mideco, Lampufaco, Decadi, and Farmsco, they accessed a fund for as their working capital. Total amount that was accessed was $174,530. And this is the project outreach for each of the cooperatives who availed of this fund. And Mideco was able to access $21,000 for their 410 farmer members, and of which 224 were women and 18 were youth. And then Campil accessed $19,829 for a total of 145 members, where 84 are women for production purposes. While BACFA availed of also $21,000 for 50 total number of member farmers, with 28 women and 2 youth, used also for production purposes. Lampufaco was able to access $63,000 and for a total of 79 members, where there were 30 women and 4 youth. And they used this as for their working capital. Decadi accessed $21,000 for 140 of their members, where 45 are women, and they used this for working capital. Farmsco accessed $69,391 for a total of 150 members, where the 56 were women and 3 are youth for their working capital needs also. And lastly, SOEMCO accessed $63,000 for a total of 130 co-op members, where 48 were women and 8 are youth for production purposes. So these are the types of support that were given and the commodities supported. And for BACFA, they had, for production, they were producing bananas and coconut. And however, we were not able to get the total volume produced. No data was available. For SOEMCO, they were producing corn and soybean, and Campil producing vegetables. And for working capital, Medeco use it for to assist their farmers or by produce from their farmers that were growing cacao and dried beans. And they were able to trade 20,600 kilos that was marketed in Davao City. Farmsco is also into abaca, and they traded this, they averaged 71,754 kilos per month. This is an average for 3 months of trading. For Decadi, they used it for palay and or rice. They traded this. There was no data for this one. Lampufaco also is rice trading. As to the impact of the Arise Fund, this is the response for COVID-19. These are the identified major problems and challenges that was encountered. Like for instance, for BACFA during the pandemic, they were not able to harvest and market their product due to lack of capitalization. So the BACFA multipurpose co-op accessed the Arise funds in order to support and meet the production requirements of their members. So the members were able to continue their production of the crops because of the assistance coming from their co-op. For DACO, this is the Decadi cooperative. They applied the rice funds for its working capital in order to serve the growing need to purchase the palay from their 140 member farmers. As for FarmSco, the purpose of their Arise funding application was for additional capital, working capital of the cooperative to increase the volume of abaca up to 80, that's their target, 80 metric tons per month. And for Campil, they availed of the Arise Fund to support their vegetable farmers, where more than 50% are women. The loan was used as working capital of Lampufaco for the rice trading in order to supply the different municipalities within the Caraga region. And while for Medeco, it was for the working capital of the cooperative to procure the products from their members, the whole coconut and cacao beans. Arise impact on women. In 3 of the farmer organizations or cooperatives, that is Medeco, Campil, and BACFA, women were able to access the Arise Fund for more than 50%. So more than 50% of their women members was able to avail of the Arise Fund. This is above the average of the four co-ops that availed with ours. This is the above average of, the average is 46.6% women. The concerns of women that Arise was able to address is that for the cacao grower, mostly these are women, they express great gratitude for their because their produce was continually purchased by the co-op, even if the market, because of the downturn, the traders in Davao City have stopped buying. So the co-op continued to buy even if they're not able to continue trading with the selling the produce to the market in Davao City. So with this, the women producers were able to continue earning their livelihood. The roles played by women in the rice, we have only on record the chairperson of Medeco is a woman, and most of the loan recipients were women, and also doing the farming are women. The impact on youth, there was only 3% of the 7 cooperatives. The total participation of the youth was only 3% as targeted beneficiaries. So the so this is a concern because the low turnout or involvement of youth shows that the youth's perception of agriculture is that it is not as a lucrative endeavor as other enterprises. So the roles of the youth in the ARISE project mostly is just as loan recipient or as in farming. As to the impact of the ARISE on the household level, the farmers' income increased as they are able to sell their produce to the co-op at a fair price instead of selling it to unscrupulous traders who take advantage of the difficult situation. Farmers get continuous income from sales of their produce even at the time when the market slowed down. The traders stopped buying because of the pandemic or travel restriction. The farmers get access to credit for production purposes also. And for the impact on the farmers' organization, the fund has helped support the requirements of the members and procure agricultural products for the members. The primary co-op's method of buying the members' produce at the time when traders stopped buying due to the pandemic and the resulting economic slowdown was a very effective method in sustaining their members' livelihood and day-to-day subsistence. This was greatly appreciated among its members. Thus, it enhanced their solidarity. And as for the, in terms of the 4 Ps, from Medeco's farmers' produce, the co-op was able to continue buying all commodities produced by their farmer members with the help of the ARISE fund. The fund availed of was not enough to meet the requirements of their existing marketing contracts or supplier agreements. Therefore, no new contracts were forged at all. As to the challenges encountered during the implementation, these were the actions taken. Like, for instance, where even if the funds availability was quite timely during the COVID-19 crisis, many of the FOs under the NIA platform did not avail of the fund because of the very limited long term, which is restricted to 1 production cycle, just as not more than 6 months. So what we did, the 4 FO members of AgriCooPh PH who do not belong to the NIA platform were considered as eligible for the fund, with AFA and CAMPIL presenting no objection. Another challenge was two of the 7 co-ops who availed of the fund defaulted in their payment due to the disasters like flooding and typhoon that affected their production. The action taken was the Federation AgriCooPh PH offered our internal agricultural loan window to the 2 defaulting co-ops with the agreement that the proceeds will be used to pay up their rice loan. Another challenge was that the pandemic situation prevented more close monitoring of beneficiaries, the co-ops and the farmers, to get more detailed and on-site information because of travel restrictions. So what we did is we had more frequent communication through telephone, emails, and Zoom meetings to stay in touch. But still, it was really not enough. So with regards to the support from farmers, the technical support assistance the FO beneficiaries received in relation to the implementation of the ARISE project is received. We have not received much from or any from the private sector or government ministries. We only had with our partners from CAMPIL as NIA for the Philippines under the FO4A project. They have been a key partner of AgriCooPh as a credit conduit of the ARISE Fund. So lessons learned. The revolving credit fund or recoverable credit fund was very useful, particularly in providing financial needs to continue production when affected by any form of calamity or disaster. The loan term also, I think we should match it with the cropping cycle of the commodity that is being funded. The RCF benefit can also be maximized if it can be revolved several times within a longer period of time. Another lesson here would be farmers training is needed to be able to produce high quality products to ensure a good price, particularly in producing good quality grade abaca fiber or cacao beans. Another is vegetable production is susceptible to flood damage, hence proper safeguards should be installed to mitigate. Also, price fluctuation affecting profit margins should be closely monitored and information immediately utilized to make costing adjustments. Another lesson is the incubation of the copra business takes longer. Therefore, gain was not yet realized when the fund was returned or repaid. Lastly, the fund was not immediately utilized. There was a difficulty utilization, particularly in buying seeds, rice seeds, the inputs. What's our takeaway points? The FOs or co-ops that have prior credit experience are good borrowers. They issued post-dated checks when they were asked. And co-ops that have regular trading transactions and have marketing contracts are in need of bigger working capital. Cash flow lending with good credit track record with other financing institutions have better payments when the loan is due. And with regards to lessons learned, RCF is very useful. I mean, the Recovery Credit Fund of ARISE, particularly in providing financial needs to continue production when farmers are affected by any form of calamity or disaster. Long term, and this is another lesson we gathered. This should match the cropping cycle of the commodity being funded. Also, the RCF benefit can be maximized if it can be revolved several times within a longer period of time. Another lesson here is that farmers' training is needed to be able to produce high quality products to ensure a good price, particularly in producing good quality grade of abaca fiber or cacao beans. Another lesson is that vegetable production is very susceptible to flood damage. Hence, proper safeguards should be installed to mitigate. Also, price fluctuation affecting profit margins, this should be closely monitored, and the information should be immediately utilized to make costing adjustments. And also, incubation of the copra business takes longer. Therefore, gain was not yet realized when the fund was returned or repaid. And lastly, the fund was not also immediately utilized. There was difficulty in utilization, particularly in buying seeds, okay, for planting. And the takeaway points, the FOs or co-ops that have prior credit experience are good borrowers. They issued post-dated checks when they were asked. Another takeaway is that co-ops that have regular trading transactions and have marketing contracts, they are in need of a bigger capital, working capital. And lastly, the cash flow lending with good credit track record with other financing institutions have better payments when the loan is due. And we take this note also that co-ops or farmer organizations that have loans for production of vegetables and rice farming, they were the ones who failed or defaulted in payment because they are very much susceptible to calamities, flooding or typhoons. And I think this is all for coming from the Philippines. So I thank Arise for this program, and I hope we will be having the second round or Arise round 2. I thank AFA partners, AFA and IFAD for creating this program for Southeast Asia. That's all. Thank you, everyone.